Honestly, Shawn, where have you brought me now? Shh. I've always wanted to see it up close. Bustling city. I always had to watch from the hill. We never really could go to town. What are you talking about? Shh. It started. Is this where you got the idea for your ridiculous transformation? Are these your heroes? I mean, yeah. It's hard to explain. You see, my mom always taught, a mama's boy. Shush. I don't got time for this right now. Let me talk. Fine. Continue. My mom always told me that as long as you could draw breath, there was a chance. And when she died, I wondered. A woman like that, taking her own life the way she did, I couldn't. But while I was thinking about it, I did what I always did. About once a week after school, these guys would come through. Well, not so much come through. They would save the city. Sometimes it's a giant robot. Sometimes it was another powered being. It was always something. But they saved the day. And when I'd read the news reports, the broadcasts later, the few times they gave public statements, very few times, they just said that it was the right thing to do. That they saved the world because if they didn't, it wouldn't be here. And I thought about that. And it really stuck with me, because I'm sure their lives are miserable. Every single day they're fighting some kind of monster that you could barely wrap your mind around. And I know because I've lived it now. But they could just smile and say to the camera, hey, who the frick else is gonna do it? And it stuck with me. So, whenever Anissa and I were having a rough go of it, we would sit on top of this hill. Well, the hill over there, anyway. We'd sit on top of it and just watch. I never got to go to the big city and see all the people who were actively in danger and whether they were thankful or not. Same way that you never got to see the people who were thankful for what you did. How condescending they were. How they were dismissive to the death toll you raised. All right, fair. And I could sit here and make all my justifications I want that these were dangerous people who were gonna kill people if I didn't kill them anyway. But I will admit, and I've told you this, at a certain stage, I was just doing what I was told. I had never graduated school. I didn't get to learn most of everything because I was trying to go out there and save the world. Half-cocked, half-baked, and with none of the knowledge I needed to really make a difference. And yet there I was, out there anyway, trying. And that justifies the catastrophic number of people in the entire cosmos that no longer exist. You knew your own damn crew. I'm not gonna sit here and, you ended whole planets. Do you want me to see sympathy for you? I have sympathy for you because I get your nature. I understand you. I don't know you personally. I don't know your life story. But I understand your nature. You're not a bad man, Leithan. You can save the galaxy. You can save the cosmos. You could save the whole of reality if you really wanted to. But instead, you spent all your time being pissed at me because I killed all your friends. Well, that's what happens. Sometimes when you make poor life decisions, bad consequences happen. I may have been the one to end them, but I was doing it to save others, which puts the burden back on you. Why were you there trying to end a planet? Because I didn't have a choice. I can't even say I didn't have what you have. I had more than you. My father still lived and wasn't apparently some kind of deadbeat, you told me? Don't even know what that means. But he was there. I don't have this sap story about heroes saving the city and talking all this good crap. There was survival or there was nothing. Now, I did the best I could with what I had, until an emperor tried to glass my planet, like he had so many others. We were nothing to him. Infinitely nothing. Infinitesimally small. And yet you're wanting me to sit here and tell you, oh, I could have been a hero. I can see the light. The world is a cruel, cruel place. It is those with power and those who use that power that decide things. You showed me that. Heralded as a hero as I watch you wipe out entire colonies that just happened to be qualified as bandits in your eyes. And I know that look, that raised eyebrow of incredulity. Frankly, it's insulting. You don't stop to think that all of these people you view as dangerous criminals are desperate and scared. They're clawing for power because they are told and shown their whole life in this cruel world that power and influence are all that can save them. Doesn't matter if they need what they're doing. It doesn't matter if they have more than they could ever want. Power and influence. This is all those people care about. Those who are criminals, those who you've killed heartlessly. Even the people they're fighting, I'm sure, are there for power and influence, desperate to change their lives in some controlled way. Trying to take back authority in their own existence. To feel in charge of an ever-spiraling mound of chaos. That's why you're no different. You found power, and you began using it how you saw fit. And my friends, the people who had come to be family to me, they were nothing but casualties on your list. That about the size of it. Yep, pretty much. And you know what? I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I understand where you're coming from. I don't like killing people. Sometimes, in my situation, it made sense. But I was trained by a talking rock who promised me I'd save my friend, who then made me kill my friend thanks to your actions. So, are you going to try and understand me? Or are you going to dedicate every second of your life trying to dance around what I'm telling you? Because what I'm seeing, Leithan, what I've always seen about you, is that you will do anything except take ownership of your own crap. It's who you've always been. Why should I take ownership of my crap when somebody else has done worse? And you know what? Fair enough. World's unfair. As you so aptly put it, it's cruel. Terrible things happen to good people every day. And terrible things happen to terrible people every day. And great things happen to the scum of the earth every second of every day. And sometimes the best human beings on the planet are thrown into the fucking garbage can until their life is gone. That is life. But it doesn't change that we are here. It doesn't change what we are doing. So while we're sitting here arguing in the middle of fantasy traffic, why don't you sit here and realize the sound you're making just to drown me out? Because I don't need to hear you yammer on about how what I've done was so scarring and so jarring to you. Let's call it what it is. We both had our excuses, but we are both murderers. I can justify mine was for a brighter tomorrow, and you can justify yours as basic survival or clawing for control. And that we can both say this is just the nature of the universe. And you know what? We'd both be right. That's the brilliance of the cosmos. There is diversity beyond knowledge, and diversity of perspective is probably the most dangerous thing, because that's how we get wars. The reason we have the Shuians is because they formed a perspective that excludes all other perspectives. They do not care who they come in conflict with. Bada is very little different. Man shows up with the perspective of, why not? And starts beating the frick out of everything, and he's got enough power where we can't do jack shit except throw him into a fucking black hole and hope he stays away for more than a decade. So, I'll say this again. What are you going on about? I was telling you about my childhood, letting you get a better look at who I am. Because you don't know me. I know you. No, you know my nature. You know what I do, and you know how I view the world. You don't know me. You have never known me. You will never know me. Not unless you shut your gob and start thinking about it. Because that's who we are, Leithan. You and I are two very stubborn people with very rigid worldviews. And it wasn't until I was ripped from the cosmos for my own very rigid and very poor decision-making that I had the chance to reflect on the fact that I have only ever done what I was told, whether it was by my own heart or by a frickin' rock. I'm finally able to think, to question myself, to question you, to question everything I've ever known. So, Leithan, if everything is as you said, everything's a cruel, cruel world filled with unfairness, why would you do any of what you did to punish you? You knew that wouldn't affect me at all. You've known that for years before you ever pretended to be me, so don't you try and say that the good you put into the world was to punish me. Especially because you knew I would be able to separate the good you did from the evil you were doing, and thank you for it anyway, because you apparently know me. So before we continue with the lies to cover for ourselves, why don't you try being frickin' honest with me? Fine, fair enough. I hadn't thought about it. I was caught up in my role of my mockery of you, and I hadn't considered why I was doing the things I was doing. I'm sure there were more minute, kind things I could have done that would have had less impact or required less effort and still mocked you just fine. Yeah, I know. And that's the problem. See, you don't think that you know anything. You think you can play ignorance as you focalize on hating me. And that's the problem. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to continue taking you on a tour. Taking you all the highlights, all the low points, everything that matters. And maybe once you understand me better, or are understood by me better, you'll start sharing yourself. Maybe, when we finally actually figure each other out, we can find our own way out of here. Until then, I just want you to stop pretending that this is about hating me. That this is somehow about vengeance and loathing. We're outside of time and space. We're outside of consequences. We're far away from anything we could hurt or be hurt by, except each other. And we are all we have. So, Leithan, enjoy the ride. Go on a journey with me. Stop making this bitter and evil. You're not a bad guy. You just got a lot of pain in there, and that's fine. So do I. I'm not trying to hide from it. You can let it out whenever you want, but don't sit here and make fabrications to justify it. It's okay. I'm not going to judge you, and there's nobody else for infinity as far as I can collect. I mean, there's those creatures, but ever since we started hanging out together, they've been keeping their distance. I don't understand that at all. But, I mean, that's what it is. You've been talking to a therapist, haven't you? Hey, do not make fun of him. Do not make fun of me getting a therapist, and do not make fun of Chet. He's young, but he's got some insights I didn't. I haven't actually seen him since... Since when? So you know why we're stuck? I know why I'm stuck. Why are you stuck? I might have pissed off the Phoenixian crystal. Oh, lovely. So, I'm not the only one you've pissed off then. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It was a poor judgment call on my part. Yeah, and the silence, that pause. I just can't believe that you... I've seen you... Why would you ever... Why wouldn't you... Well, excuse me. I found out it had been using me as a puppet for most of my freaking life and took away my chance to live normally. So I was a little pissed. And a little tired of its bullcrap. Only you, Shawn, only you could be the man who threatens near godlike power like you stand a chance. Your courage borders on ignorance. How can you throw hands with a god? How can a rock be God? Yeah, that's my point. It's a fucking rock. I'm not even joking. There's zero reason for me to actually fear this thing. Oh yeah, it can kick my ass. Cool. So can a lot of people. You've proven that. No. I will throw hands with whoever the hell I have to. You are a caveman. You are the most primitive beast in all of the cosmos. I'll throw hands with whoever I have to. Yeah, and it's worked out pretty damn well for me. You ain't never been able to do nothing. Neither has anybody else. I bitch slap black holes. I'm not scared. I got no reason to be. Because every single time I've gotten my ass kicked, I get back up. Because I would do anything to keep pushing forward. Just like these people. Oh, you're bringing it back to the masked madmen again. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what their freaking origin story is. And I don't need to. They run around in a mask. And what they do speaks for them. I don't need to know their backstory. I don't need to see their face. They don't need to be people. They are in fully enclosed suits. I have no freaking clue who's in those costumes. And I don't have to. Because they saved the world. And any person who will selflessly save the world and say that they did it because it needed saving, that's enough. That's enough for me. And I know somewhere in there, Leithan, you understand the concept. The same way you understand the power of a man rolling up out of nowhere and ending your world. You got so fricked up by Emperor Visto that you decide you'd emulate him, Equinox. Oh, so we've gone on to titles again, Phoenix. No, we haven't. I was drawing attention to something you've been actively ignoring. You just told me something about yourself, and you forget I know the same things you know about the history of the cosmos. There is only one person who glasses planets, and that's Mad King Visto. So, why are you sitting here emulating him, ending planets like a freaking space pirate? I told you already. Really? It's to get power and control back over your life? That's really stupid. Excuse you? Yeah, you heard me say it. That's stupid. It's fucking dumb. You're an idiot. I have outwitted you multiple times, and I did not care. I can swing as hard as I want. You can be smart as you are. Doesn't matter. I'll keep swinging. And no plan you've ever had has ever kept me. It's never stopped me. And even when it did, even when it almost got there, guess what happened? Everybody else kicked your ass. Because that's the road you have on your path to antagonism. When you start glassing planets, your enemies list gets long. And when you start kicking people in the moons like me, your enemy list gets long. But when you're doing either of these things to save people, to do right by other people, they want to try and do right by you in return. Even if they hate your guts, even if they despise you, they will try and repay the favor, because there is nothing people hate more than being in debt to somebody. So when you do right things by people and ask for nothing in return, it's easy for people to just realize they owe you a debt whether they like it or not. And sometimes you don't got to lift a hand to get them to cash it in. To the people who actually have hearts, sometimes it won't even matter how long it's been. The memory alone is enough. So, here I am. And you know what? I'm going to make a promise to you, Leithan. I see good in you. And even though you're going to sit here and you're going to fight me, you're going to make some weird presentation about how much you're evil and how you're my enemy and how you'll never do anything for me. Like I know you're gonna. Let's be 100% clear. Despite all of that noise, I'm gonna save you when I'm out of here. When I get out of here, I will do anything I can to get you free. I don't know how I'm gonna get both of us free, but I'm gonna figure it out. And you've seen me. Once I've said I'm gonna do something, nobody can stop me. All right, fair enough. And let's say, for some reason, I get out of here first. Let's make that little magic happen in our brain. I'll do the same for you. So I can see what you do when you owe me a debt. I can see what kind of person you are when you finally owe someone else your life. Oh, you don't know about that. Oh, this will be a refreshing change of pace for you then. Yeah, go ahead, do that. I will never fully understand you, will I, Shawn? You know my nature. I'm not a very complicated man. But I don't think you'll ever understand how I got to be this hot mess of a person, no. Well, if we must go on this road tour of your life, let's just move right along. Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I'm sure I can find some road tunes in this universe. You are not going to figure out how to make the cosmos play music. That's not how reality works. Are you not aware of where we are? We are not in reality. This is a place of memories and emotions. I'm sure if I just think hard enough, I can get it to start playing music. Really, that's your gambit. Yep, that's my gambit. I'm sticking to it too. It's going to be a long trip. Yeah, that's why I got to get those tunes going as soon as I can. Oh God.